You wake up one morning, and everything feels off. Your best friend is acting just like you. She's wearing your clothes, talking like you, even stealing your favorite coffee order. Then, your boyfriend leaves you for her. Your job fires you, only for her to take your place. And one day, you come home to find your apartment empty. Your pictures, your furniture, even your name, erased. Everyone believes she was always you. And you? You never existed. Would you fight back? Or would you run before you disappear completely? Watch till the end to uncover the chilling truth. What would you do if someone started taking over your life, piece by piece? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to Stories of Brilliance for more jaw-dropping thrillers. Emma's life was ordinary, predictable, until the day she realized it wasn't hers anymore. She had always trusted Claire. They were best friends, bonded since childhood, their friendship built on shared secrets and whispered dreams. Claire had always been there. When Emma got her first heartbreak, when she landed her first job, even when she lost her father. But something had shifted. It started as small things. Claire began wearing the same clothes as Emma, not in a cute, best friend matching way. Number exact same outfits, down to the same brand of perfume, the same little silver ring Emma wore on her thumb. At first, Emma thought it was a coincidence, a funny accident. Then Claire started ordering Emma's favorite coffee, even though she used to hate it, laughing the same way Emma did, using the same phrases. Emma's mother once slipped up and called Claire by Emma's name. They laughed about it, but a strange feeling gnawed at her. Then came the boyfriend. Emma and James had been together for 4 years. They had problems, sure, but she loved him. She thought he loved her, until the night he broke up with her. 2 weeks later, she saw him kissing Claire outside a cafe. The betrayal hit like a knife to the chest. But Claire's expression was the worst part. Not guilty, not apologetic, just satisfied. Emma felt the ground shift beneath her. Something was wrong. Then, the final straw. She lost her job. Overnight, a company restructuring, they said. But weeks later, Claire casually mentioned that she had gotten a new job at the same company. Emma felt sick. "Claire, that was my job. I applied for that role." Claire just smiled. "Guess I was more qualified." Emma's hands shook as she stared at her best friend. Who the hell was this person? Then, the ultimate horror. Emma visited her childhood home, seeking comfort from her mother. But on the living room wall, where Emma's family pictures were framed, there was a new one. A photo of Claire. A family trip Emma didn't even remember taking. Emma's throat went dry. "Mom," she whispered, "where did you get that picture?" Her mother frowned. "What do you mean?" "That was from our vacation to the cabin. You and Claire were inseparable." Emma's heart pounded. There was no vacation. That trip never happened. And yet, the picture was there. A memory rewritten. Emma's breath came in sharp, shallow gasps. Claire wasn't just copying her. She was erasing her, and nobody had noticed. Emma stood frozen, her pulse hammering in her ears. The photo on the wall didn't belong. It was impossible. It was wrong. Her mother looked at her with confusion, concern. "Honey, are you okay? Claire was always part of our family." Emma shook her head. "No, Mom. That trip never happened." Her mother's lips pressed into a thin line, as if trying to recall something just out of reach. Then she sighed. "You've been under a lot of stress, sweetie. Maybe you just don't remember." Emma's stomach twisted. They were rewriting her life, and even her own mother couldn't see it. She needed proof. Emma rushed home and tore through old photo albums, school yearbooks, anything that could prove her past was real. But page after page, she found something horrifying. Claire wasn't just in her past now. She was replacing her. A class photo where Emma should have been in the front row. Claire was there instead. A birthday party from when they were kids. Claire was the one blowing out the candles. Even her college graduation photo, the one Emma's father had framed before he passed. Claire was in it. Emma was gone. Her hands trembled as she flipped through her phone, checking old texts, emails. So many had disappeared. Messages from friends she hadn't seen in months. Emails from work. Records of her existence were being erased. And Claire? Claire was thriving, posting pictures online of Emma's life, but as her own. Emma wasn't just being pushed aside. She was being erased. Emma stormed to Claire's apartment, heart pounding, fists clenched. Claire answered the door with a smirk. "Emma, you look awful. Are you sleeping?" Emma shoved past her into the apartment. "What the hell are you doing? You stole my job. You stole James. And now you're—" She struggled to even say it. "You're replacing me." Claire closed the door calmly, sighing. "Emma, you sound crazy." Emma's nails dug into her palm. "Don't call me that." Claire leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "If I'm replacing you, how come no one notices? Maybe you should ask yourself why you're so forgettable." Emma's breath hitched. Forgettable. Claire took a slow step closer. "Maybe your own mother prefers me. Maybe James did too. Maybe your boss realized I was the better option." She tilted her head. "You always did take up space you didn't deserve." Emma's vision blurred with rage. She grabbed a glass from the counter and hurled it at the wall. It shattered into 1,000 jagged shards. Claire just smiled. A slow, victorious smile. "See?" she whispered. "This is why no one believes you." Emma's blood ran cold. Claire wanted her to react. She wanted her to look unstable. Emma turned and ran. She needed help. Someone, anyone, who could see what was happening. She tried calling her best friend from college. Number disconnected. She messaged her old co-worker. No response. She drove to her mother's house. But when she knocked, her mother barely recognized her. "Emma?" Her mother's eyes were confused, distant. "Oh, sweetheart, I thought you moved away." Emma felt a cold sweat. "What?" Her mother smiled awkwardly. "Claire told me. She said you left the country. I thought you were sending a new number, but—" "Oh, sweetheart, I've been talking to Claire all this time." Emma's knees almost buckled. Her mother believed Claire was her daughter. She was losing everything. Emma ran home. She needed her ID, her birth certificate, anything that proved she was real. But when she unlocked the door, she froze. Her apartment was empty. Furniture, gone. Clothes, gone. Even the pictures on the walls were gone, like she had never lived there. A single envelope sat on the floor. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Inside was a single photo. A picture of Claire, sitting in Emma's apartment, wearing Emma's clothes, and scrawled in Claire's perfect, elegant handwriting, "You don't exist anymore." Emma stood in the middle of her empty apartment, clutching the photo in her trembling hands. "You don't exist anymore." The words burned into her brain. Her clothes, gone. Her furniture, gone. Every trace of her life had been erased. She reached into her bag for her ID. Her wallet was missing. She checked her phone, locked out of her bank account, her email, her social media. Panic clawed at her throat. She tried calling the police. The line went dead. Then came the knock at the door. Slow, deliberate. She turned, her breath caught in her throat. Another knock. She wasn't supposed to be here. Whoever was on the other side of that door expected her to be gone. Emma took a step back, then another. She had to run, but before she could move, the doorknob turned. Emma bolted. She ran down the fire escape, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She didn't know where to go. She had no home, no money, no identity. But she had one thing left: the truth. She had to expose Claire. She had to find proof. She hid out in an old friend's abandoned photography studio, hacking into Claire's accounts using an old password she remembered. And then she found it. A folder labeled EMMA. Inside were documents, edited photos, emails, evidence that Claire had been planning this for years. But that wasn't the worst part. There was another folder, labeled ELENA. Emma's breath hitched as she clicked it open. Inside were the same types of forged documents, photos, but not of Emma, of another girl. A girl who looked just like her, and a single news article. Young woman vanishes without a trace. Family receives final text. I'm okay. Don't look for me. Emma's blood ran cold. She wasn't the first. Emma arranged a meeting with Claire, a public place, a rooftop bar where Claire would feel safe. Claire arrived, dressed in Emma's old red coat, Emma's necklace, Emma's shoes. She sat across from Emma, sipping a drink like nothing was wrong. Emma placed her phone on the table, recording. I know what you did, she said, voice steady. And I'm not the first, am I? Claire just smiled. You were my best work. Emma's stomach twisted. Claire leaned forward, voice soft, almost affectionate. I didn't just steal your life, Emma. I made it better. I wore it better than you ever did. People love me more than they ever loved you. Emma clenched her fists. It's over. I have proof. I can expose you. Claire's smile widened. Oh, sweetheart. She reached into her bag and slid a passport across the table. Emma's heart stopped. It was hers, except it wasn't. The name was different. The birth date was changed. Her entire identity had been rewritten. Claire sighed, standing up. You were never meant to win, Emma. Emma lunged for her, but Claire stepped back. And then security guards surrounded Emma. Ma'am, we're going to need you to come with us. Emma's heart pounded. What? No, she's the fraud. She stole my life. Claire just shook her head, looking at the guards with fake sympathy. I don't know who she is, she said softly. She's been following me for months. I think she needs help. Emma struggled as they grabbed her arms. No, I'm Emma. I'm Emma. Claire smiled one last time, and then Emma was gone. Days later, Claire sat in Emma's old apartment, flipping through a book, sipping wine. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. Did you really think you did this alone? Claire's smile faded. Emma was never the target. You were. Claire's blood ran cold. She wasn't in control anymore. And then her phone screen flickered, and her name began to disappear. Letter by letter, just like Emma's had. If you like this story, then like, share, and subscribe to Stories of Brilliance for more thrilling stories like this. Would you like a sequel where Claire becomes the next victim?